I'm George Aviles, your host, and welcome to the Aviles Podcast Show. Today we got a special segment for episode 2. We got actor and comedian Roy Jackson. Roy, welcome.
Hey, what's up, man?
What's up, brother? It's been a while. I haven't seen you. So, thank you for being on the show, and congrats on your success.
Thank you.
So, who is Roy Jackson? Tell us about yourself, your background. Who is Roy?
Oh, I'm just a simple man. No, man. Yo, I wouldn't say complex, but I would say a person with passion behind everything I do. You know what I mean? Come from Richmond, California, the city of pride and purpose.
Okay.
You know, was an athlete most of my life. Transitioned into being an actor and comedian later on. Also, I do jujitsu, man.
Okay.
That's my woosah.
Your woosah?
You know
That's how you stay in shape?
You gotta have your woosah, man. Your insanity has to be found somewhere. So,
definitely.
no, man, just passionate about what I do. I believe in hard work, man, and you know, eventually everything will work out through hard. There's no substitution for hard work. You know what I mean?
You got to work hard.
Nah, no doubt. You said you got to do that, and it gets hard at times. But I think if you stand on your faith with the hard work, everything works out in the long run, and you just got to believe that all the way through.
Okay.
Because it's going to probably be more valleys than peaks along the way.
Oh yeah, definitely for that. That's for sure. You have any siblings?
I do, man. Got 3.
You got 3 siblings.
Yeah, I got 2 sisters and a brother.
All right. My next question in reference to that is, would you collaborate with one of your siblings on any of those projects?
Not because of the reason most people think. I just have a policy that I don't do business with friends and family.
Okay.
Because I don't want to mess with the dynamic of that relationship. There may be like a handful of people that I can, because they know how to distinguish the business from the relationship.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think what happens is when you do business with friends and family, a lot of times things get clouded. I think that people think they can get away with things that they normally wouldn't do to a stranger in a business situation because it's family. I.e., you know, say you got a house to rent.
Mm-hmm.
And you rent it to your cousin or your sister or your brother, somebody like that. You know, rents do. They feel like, well, I can tell you it's late because you my brother or you my cousin. And it's all good.
That is true.
I don't have it.
That is infamous in the
You know
real
what I
estate
mean?
world.
Right.
I didn't collect rent this month because my cousin didn't want to pay. That
Right.
is so true.
But the regular landlord, you're not going to short him. You
Yeah.
explaining, you trying your hardest, you trying to borrow it from somebody.
Yeah.
Anything you can do because you work, you make it evicted, so on and so forth. Your family say, oh, nah, they're not going to do nothing. I can let them know I'm going to be late. You know what I mean? So, nah.
Yeah.
So I try and stay away from that if I can.
Okay. Where did your passion come from for your craft? When did that start?
I think ever since I was a kid, man. Like my brother always tells a story about people would ask me what I wanted to be when I grew up, and I just say famous. You know what I mean? I didn't know what that entailed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't know what I had to do to be famous.
Right.
I just like famous. And I remember as a kid always trying to like imitate Michael Jackson. Man, I was trying to imitate Elvis, like just everything I saw on TV, just entertainment-wise, you know. So sports was definitely part of it because you get a little taste of that success when you're good at sports. You know what I'm saying? Being an athlete, and you feel that energy, you know. And then once I got to school, like college, I just always knew I wanted to do something in entertainment. You know what I mean? Not so much for the fame, but just for the love of it. Like I love watching comedians, I love watching movies and TV, and then, you know, I love music also. You grow up listening to so much music, and then so I loved it all. And I said, well, damn, what am I gonna do? I just know I like entertainment. And luckily, one of my friends on the football team, he was already in the drama department, so he's like, yo, why don't you take an acting class? Take the class, then the rest was history. I got bit by the bug.
That's it.
And that was it.
It's history.
And then you lock it in from there, and it's just like, I feel like anything in the arts or anything that's kind of unconventional, you know what I mean? I think you figure out real quick if you do or don't have a passion for it, like if it's your thing, you know what I mean? Like whether it's where you have to kind of step outside the box, or should I say think outside the box. I think that it either eliminates you real quick. It's kind of like when you went to school and you took like Chem 1A. And you know what I mean? They call them weed out.
I knew chemistry was
right. You were like,
I stick to the finance and numbers.
Yo, I thought, because I got to school, I said, oh, I'm going pre-med. I took Chem 1A. I was like, nah, I'm not going pre-med. You know what I mean? This is pre-dead, baby. You know what I mean? Because I'm not doing it. But I think the arts, I think real estate, because it's commission only. Anything where you have to really grind and it really makes you question, can I do it? Is this good? And you learn like, yeah, this is for me, and no, it's not, because the passion is what keeps you going. But I would also say, in all of the passion is not just enough. You got to have some talent in it too.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So it has to. The two have to come together in order for you to be successful in whatever it is. So for me, like once I started doing, the acting classes in the department of school, I just stuck with it. I had teachers that would like give me scenes or like characters that was way outside of the norm of like who I was or who you would see walking in, you know what I mean? And then that but when you feel it, it's like you just know, you know what I mean? So I started doing theater first, and it's an instant gratification thing when you do stage or when you do comedy, because what happens is you know right now if it works. You know right now if it's good.
Real quick.
You know what I mean?
There's no waiting time.
No.
They boo you or they clap.
That's it. It's like when you think about it, you show a property, what happens? You've got people, they walk in and you know if they're going to buy it. Now they start talking. Oh, I don't know about this and I don't know about that. And that room's too small. That's the same thing. Right now, you know. But that situation is also what tells you, all right, I can keep doing this or I can't. Because if you don't got thick skin, it's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
Forget about it. Just be like, you know what,
So
I'm going to
true.
do something else. You know what I mean?
It's funny. I gotta agree with you, Roy. I think it doesn't matter what career or what you're looking to do. In order to be successful, you gotta find your passion. You gotta be passionate about what you do. You gotta grind. You gotta hustle in order to be successful.
Yeah.
So you talk about sports because I know you love sports and you're a sports enthusiast. You play football in college.
I did. Football, yeah.
And who did you play for?
Played for Cal, UC Berkeley, University of California, Berkeley. We are 4-0 right now.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
Go Bears.
There you go. You gotta give a shout out to your school. What'd you play? What position?
I played fullback. Well, when I did it all, I played fullback. I came in, I think I played like maybe every position that I could, because I walked on to earn my scholarship.
Okay.
So I didn't come in like everybody else, highly recruited and so on and so forth, but going back to that passion, I love the game, and I always felt like my skill level was the same as everybody else's. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna go get it. And I did, long story short, but ultimately, yeah, that's where I played at, was fullback. And I loved it, you know what I mean? And I think the sports gives you the foundation, I think, for everything, because you gotta have discipline. You gotta learn how to deal with adversity. You gotta take the wins, you gotta take the losses, you have to do all of the above through sports. And if you don't, shit, man, if you can't handle sports, it's gonna be tough in the real world, you know what I mean? And that's for any sport that you play. I don't care if it's cricket, ride horse, whatever you do that makes you have to compete, because that's what it's about, right? And you make a decision that you're not gonna quit. Like for me, my pops, he same thing I do with my kids. It's a rule, and it's just like quit. It's not even. You don't even think to say it. It's not an option. You can't quit. You decide you're gonna do something, you have to do it. Now you could do it once and never do it again. Once season is over, or you finish the project, whatever it can. But quit in the middle, no, you just can't do it.
They don't make kids like they used to now. So everybody gets a medal, participation. Yeah, I don't agree with that either. How long you been an actor comedian?
Man, Man, like I said, I started acting in school, so
But professionally, like when you act.
professional. Funny, I guess, technically they say you're professional once you get paid to do it. So
Okay.
my first time getting paid to act was right after college. I think like 2002, like 2000, it had to be either like fall of 2001 or like spring of 2002. And I started with the African American Shakespeare Company in San Francisco.
So around that circle. So you've been around like 17 years.
Yeah, that's how long.
That's a long time. So you're a veteran.
Yeah, and that was all in the Bay Area. That's just doing basically regional theater. I was doing school tour to like elementary schools and stuff like that. So that was awesome. And then eventually I ended up making transition, moved to LA, where everything is. And then I went from there. I got to LA in probably 2004, I want to say, something like that.
Okay.
And it's funny because, when you get there, you have this vision. You think that like, oh, I'm going to go to LA and everything's going to work out. And you get there and you're like, nah, it don't work out like
Reality
that.
hits.
And it's just seeing, for me personally, I've seen so much transition because I started at a different time period. Like a lot of people coming in now, the grind is just different. You know what I mean? Like they don't have to go do drop-offs to try and get their picture in somebody's hand. They don't have, everything's so electronic and everything like that. But at the same time, there's a lot of doors closed on them because that hustle was eliminated.
Yeah.
They kind of made it to where you have to have representation in order to get in the room and so on and so forth, to kind of keep you from doing that. So I think they're at an advantage and a disadvantage at the same time, new people coming in the game. But for me, I learned it all more or less through trial and error. Nobody really gave me the blueprint, said do this way, do that way. And I made a lot of bad decisions and shit, but at the end of the day,
but you learn from those.
That's the only way. And I think it's that way with anything you do, go for it.
Right. It's not an L, it's not a loss. It's an L's for learning.
That's it. You never lose. You either learn or you win, but you never lose.
Exactly.
And I think that, in these situations, most people, going back to something you said earlier about like that passion, I think everybody has a passion for something, but so many people are so scared, or I shouldn't say, it's a mixture of fear and being content. You know what I mean? Like, so people are so content in whatever the job is that they're doing because they got a nice paycheck, they can pay everything, and then that passion, that thing over there says, yo, man, you might have to eat ramen for a little while. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Something like that. You might have to, you know what I mean? You may have to, walk to this place. You may have to catch the bus. You may not be able to. And people, that comfort, when that reality hits you, like, damn, I may have to live it. But that's what lets you know, like, yeah, I really want to do it. And the people that really want to do it, they stick with it. And, it may not happen as fast as everybody thinks, but it eventually happens. You said something earlier, too, about, I think, like, we were talking about something, you mentioned, like, 10 years. And that's pretty much the average. Everybody's a 10-year overnight success.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You're like, oh, man, he's a great artist. Oh, look at that dude selling you was talking about the real estate cats doing the TV show,
Bravo,
right?
Yeah.
Yo, so, and everybody looks at them and say, oh, these dudes doing $1 million listings and properties. They came from nowhere. Nah, that nowhere was 10, 15 years worth of nowhere.
Knocking doors, making phone calls. I mean? Yeah,
absolutely. Exactly. They wasn't wearing designer suits back then.
Oh no, they were struggling.
And people they never see that part. And I think that's what makes people think, oh, I could jump in and do that. And in my industry, it's the same way, and it's so dope because I was watching Chappelle's latest special. He does his commentary at the end, and the guy stands up in the audience and he's like, yo, would you have any advice for like a new comedian? He was like, oh, you do comedy? He was like, nah, but since I watched you, I want to do it. And Chappelle was like, hold up, like, I don't know what it is about what I do that makes you look at me and say, you want to do this? He said, this is crazy because you never see watch somebody do brain surgery and be like, oh, I'm going to go ahead and try that tomorrow. Exactly. You know what I mean? And it's like, but other professions, real estate, actors, comedians, musician, whatever. Just like, oh, I'm gonna go do that. I'm gonna go try my hand. But especially with comedy, you see a lot of people just trying like, oh, I'm gonna do stand-up, because it looks like it's easy. But they don't realize that person's been working something for a long time. And I think in the in whatever you're doing, that's the reality of it. Those hours, that 10,000 hour rule. Once you're 10,000 hours in, you're a pro at it, right?
Right, you mastered it.
Oh yeah, because
That's in any field.
anything, because you can break it down now. I can tell you exactly how to do it. My body has developed a muscle memory to it, to where it's second nature to me. And that grind to get there is what the fear is, I think, in people.
So with that, what advice would you give someone who wants to get into the arts, to become an actor, to become a comedian? What advice, knowing what you know, someone tomorrow wants to get into the field?
Nice. It's funny because a lot of people that you listen to this just say, don't, do something else. I'm not that person. I'm like, yo, man, you really want to do it, go for it. You know what I'm saying? But I say, figure out if you want to do it, meaning find you wherever you are. I don't care if you're in Idaho, Montana, somewhere, every state, there's some little acting class somewhere. Jump in there. You know what I'm saying? Take it. See if you like it. See if you can stand getting up there in front of people and doing a monologue or a scene or whatever the case may be, and see if you can stick with it. Because if you can't do that little bit, you actually have to start walking in rooms and auditioning for people. It's not going to work out. You know what I mean? And I think for just the arts in general, I'm not going to say, like, if you suck, don't do it.
But I think if you suck, don't do it, because you gotta have, like you said before. One thing you said before, Roy, was you gotta have passion, but you also have talent.
You do, but some people, surprisingly enough, it's very far and few between. But there are a handful of people that have something, and they do something, but they got something that needs to be developed.
Okay.
And they may not see it, and that's why I think it's important to get around teachers or peers that can see it, that's been around. I think mentors are extremely important. I personally never had none, you know what I'm saying? I wish I did, you know what I mean? But when I talk to younger actors, I try to give them much advice as I can and stuff like that, because sometimes people can see something in you that you can't see in yourself. So it's important to have people around you, or be around people, should I say, right? Because you're only going to be as successful as the people you put yourself around.
Exactly.
So you have to be around people, I think especially in the arts, that have been doing it. That's why it's important, if you want to do comedy, you start going to comedy clubs. You start getting up on them. It's only one way to know if you like comedy, because you got to do it. Yeah. You can be as funny as you want around your friends. You can do skits on camera, all of that type of stuff. But when you jump on that stage and it's you and a mic,
that's a different ballgame.
Absolutely, and you figure it out real quick. So, like, somebody getting in, do it. Do whatever it is that you want to do. Try it. You know what I mean? You want to sell cars? Go work in a car dealership. You'll figure out if you built for it or not. You know what I mean? You want to, whatever it is that you want to do, you got to go figure out if you can do it. And class is just one point. Class gives you a taste. But you have to start implementing. And when you tell people, I remember seeing Don Cheadle once, he said, people come up and they say, yo, I want to be an actor, what I got to do? And he's like, well, what are you acting in now? Like, are you even reading plays? Are you trying to do regional theater? Are you trying to go to a junior college and take a class? And then most people don't want to do any of that stuff, because they, like you said, they look at it and say, I want to go right up here to the top. I don't want to take the stairs, go to the elevator. You know what I mean? And it doesn't work that way. So as far as getting in, if you want to do it, I say go for it, but understand that it's going to be a lot of sacrifice. And, you're not going to, the overnight success is, like I said, about 10 years overnight. That night was a 10-year period, you know what I mean? Yeah. But if you want to do it, shoot, go for it. And at some point you got to make a decision that you're never going to quit, because you definitely reach a point where And like myself, you know, I've tasted some success, but I'm nowhere near where I want to be. You know what I mean? And I think that you come to a point where you've come so far. Shit, turning back and going back is not even an option.
Yeah.
Because it's going to take you longer to get back than it would to just get there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you might as well just keep on grinding. So, you know.
How was your first experience when you were first purchasing your first property in real estate?
It was great because it was my own. So you know that worked out. So I mean, it was a win on all aspects because I was like, yo, I'm doing like my own deal for my own house, and you know, I felt like I was flexing a little bit, showing what I learned in real estate and everything like that. But you learned a lot through the deal. You learned the language. You learned the jargon. Going back to doing, right? So you get your license, you do your training, and then you still don't know shit.
You got that right.
That's the reality, right? You don't know shit. Like, you don't know how to write it. I mean, you do, but the first one you're going to call somebody because you don't really know what to fill in. You got to get somebody to check it, make sure you don't put the wrong thing, so on and so forth. So you have to do. Everything is about doing. You know what I mean? So until you write up a contract, until you start to get into it, then you start to understand the language. And you start to pay attention. If somebody's serious, do they really want to buy something? I remember I had a lady, man, I was like, yo, she was on board, but her budget wasn't great. But you start finding stuff in that budget, and they realize, like, and then they hit you with well, I'm just going to wait maybe another year because, you know.
Yeah.
But for my first property, like I said, it was dope because it was my own property. You know what I mean? But I think for anybody buying a property, I think it's extremely important to be realistic.
Okay.
I think a lot of people are not realistic as first-time home buyers. They say, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, I want this and I want that, and I want this and I want that, and the budget is this.
Everybody's been watching HGTV. That's
Right.
the problem. Everybody wants a flip and that. You know what I mean?
And that's work.
Yeah.
Like, once again, you got to lead a professional work to the professionals. Like, unless you're a contractor and you really know how to do the work, don't look at it and say, oh, yeah, I'm going to buy this, because what'll happen is you buy this house, and whatever was broke when you moved in is going to be broke like 10 years later because you don't know how to fix it.
Yep.
You might have blew your budget because you thought it was a great deal, and then now you can't fix it, so now you got to deal with it, you know, and now you're miserable because you're dealing with something that you could have avoided the whole way through. So I think educate yourself, but also in buying a first property, choose an agent that can help educate you, you know, that you trust, that has knowledge, that's been in the business for a while, that wants to work for you and get the deal done. And I think you probably shouldn't micromanage, you know what I mean? If you see a property, let them know. But one thing I do know is that, I mean, I was guilty of it myself early on before I was, you know, had my license stuff, and my other friends are in real estate, they do the same kind of thing. You get people, you'll send them properties. Oh, no. And then they'll send you like 10 back. You know what I mean? You're like, yo, check, you told me you wanted this. And it's like, this checks off everything on your list. You're like, but I don't know. What about these? And you're like, but wait, this is missing stuff off your list. You know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of times people never really know what they want. And what makes an agent dope is, like, going back to that talent, is you're able to listen and read people, and it's like, you don't know what you want, but I do. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna show you what you want, because I hear everything you're saying. Now watch what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take you this and this, and out of these three, I bet you can get one. You know what I mean? And I think that goes into the first property. That person has to feel that energy of the agent and know, like, yo, that agent's dope. Like, yeah, they can.
He knows me. He knows his stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Because there's so many that don't. A lot of people just want to make money, they want to make a sale, they want to rush you into a property, they want to, you know, and I think that's the worst thing that you can do.
Yeah. In every profession, you got good and bad. What is your dream house for you and your family?
Well, my boys told me we get the pool apparently. So it's funny because no, seriously, they now like the new thing is, Bobby, when we move into the house with the pool, and they talk about it so normal, I'm like, shit, I guess we moving sometime soon. I didn't know, but apparently that's what I told them. I said, y'all know something I don't know apparently because they talk about it as if it's happening tomorrow, and I'm like, hey.
Is that in the East Coast or the West Coast?
Me personally, I would love to stay here. You know what I mean? I think that you just can't really beat it. It's a cultural melting pot.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Everybody complains about the weather, but realistically, the weather's only bad for maybe 3 months. You get much more good weather than you do bad. Let's put it like that. You know what I mean? And obviously, the taxes here are great. Okay, but it's all relative. If you move a little further out to a different county, taxes ain't bad at all. You want to live close to this. Everything's about location, location, location. The rules of real estate, right? If you want to live close to the city, you're going to pay a little more in taxes to live close to the city. That's just the reality of it. That's anywhere you go. If you live close to the metropolitan area, it costs you more money. My dream house, no more than maybe like 5 bedrooms, I don't think, because that's a lot of space. And it's only 4 of us, so 5 bedrooms I think is cool. I would love to have my own gym hooked up.
Okay.
Like The Rock, you know what I mean? You got the Iron Paradise, that's what you got. You know what I mean? Oh, I'd love to have the Iron Paradise in my own house, and you can just walk out there and go get it. For me, that's it. Like my stuff is simple. I usually ask my wife; she probably wore all kinds of different stuff. You know what I mean? Which is cool. She can have it. I don't have to deal with it. My thing is like the kitchen is dope. I would love to have make my gym obviously in a room where I could do my little tape auditions and do voiceover recordings. So maybe have like a voiceover booth. After that, I'm good. You know what I mean? Everything's about with the kids and whatever she wants, and as long as they're happy. I got 2 boys, so it's not really hard to make them happy. You know what I'm saying? They simple. That's it. They got a hoop on and pool. They're like, we're good. So then after that, that's really it. I mean, a little bit of space in the outside area. I have my eye on I used to live in Seacrest. I always Seacrest is 12 minutes from the city. So it's perfect. But then now it's getting oversaturated over there. It's so many people moving in. You know what I mean? I like Inglewood Cliffs because that's in great proximity.
Yep.
Alpine is dope. Gets a little further though, so I'm like, damn, that might push me up too far. They got bears and shit. No, but yeah, I like that area is cool. Taxes are great. Paramus has great taxes. You know what I mean? Everything's closed on Sunday, but it's all good. You just go buy your liquor on Saturday, and then you're good for Sunday.
That's it. So, what advice would you give your fans who are about to buy a property?
I would say if you're gonna buy a property, know what you're getting into. It's a commitment, and there's always something to do.
Right.
Always something to do. Nothing's ever going to be a brand new house, and you're gonna look and you're gonna be like, well, I don't really like the way that door moves when I walk through it, or I don't really like the way those steps creak, or it's always gonna be something that has to be done. And I think knowing what you're willing to do, opposed to what you would like to do are 2 different things, right? There's a difference between needs and wants. You know what I mean? You may want to renovate your kitchen, but if it's functional and it can get you by for 10 years while you stack up a little bit, then you know what? Go ahead and take it. I think everybody wants all the bells and whistles right away, not realizing that you don't really need to have all that right now. If it's functional and it works and it's good and it's solid, that's one thing is extremely important. A solid, structured home, it's solid. A lot of older homes was built a long time ago, they're still standing for a reason. You know what I mean?
They don't make them like they used to.
Right, and they're not going anywhere. Those houses are going to stand. So I think looking at that and getting a great home inspector that can come in and look at things and be like, this is not cool, or that's cool, so on and so forth, is extremely important. Finding the property in an area that you want, or maybe it's up and coming. Excuse me. I would say pay attention to those little things like that. What is it that I truly need in a house right now? And what am I willing to put up with? Go see the neighborhood. That's another thing. Looking at properties. One thing we used to do when we was looking at properties to buy, it was like, whether it's an investment property, a house you want to live in, whatever, don't just go in the day. Go over there at nighttime too. Go sit in the car, look around, see what it sounds like, see what it looks like. Are people moving around? Is that something you can deal with? Is it super quiet? Some people come from the city and they go move to the suburb, they be freaking out, like, yo, it's too quiet out here. Like, it's not, something's gonna happen. You know what I mean? What's going on? They watch a scary movie or something and they're like, oh shit, something's gonna happen. Somebody's gonna come in. It's like, no, it's not like that.
You're surrounded.
But I think one of the most important things is be realistic in your budget. Know that you're never gonna find the perfect house. Just like there's never a perfect time to do anything and take a risk. It's gonna be perfect once you make it perfect. So you have to look at it with a vision of, I'm gonna change things over time, and maybe 10 years from now, it'll be the house that I want to live in, But I think that's the most important thing that you can do when looking to buy a property, is just go for it and say, you know what, I want this. This may not be so perfect. I'll change it later. And if you want to grow, you got to know your immediate plans. Maybe you don't have kids yet, and you say, well, how many do you want to have? You can't move into a 2-bedroom house and say, I want to have 5 kids. You know what I mean? And you're going to knock them out.
Done fixing it.
Right. So then you got to think about that. Will it increase in value? And then that's where your person comes in. That's where your agent comes in. You got to start asking these things. Yo, what's it been like? What's it look like in the past 6 months? It's funny, I was reading an article, and it was about starter homes, because I wanted to see the average time that people stay in a starter home. And the thing that was said in one of them was that they said pay attention to the area you're in, because a lot of times, 10 years from the time you moved in, the area that you're thinking of moving to, the one you're in now, will be the area that you want to live in, because it's developing. So if you can sit, be a little patient, you see a lot of, like, I see so many areas in Jersey that are like hot spots right now. Look like hot spots, but if you understand the game, you pay attention, you say, oh yeah, that's where you want to grab something if you can.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, what new projects? What's going on? Where can people see Roy and the rest of 2019 and 2020? What's going on?
All of my social media is at Go Roy Jackson. Everything is Go Roy Jackson. It's Go Roy Jackson, because I feel like if you're a fan, you follow me, you're rooting for me. So it's Go Roy Jackson. You know what I mean? And then other than that, just had a movie that I was part of that came out called Nighthawks. It's available on all digital platforms right now. So it came out on iTunes first, and I believe it'll be available on other digital platforms, Amazon, so on and so forth, on October 3rd. I want to say that one's out now. I just did ADR for another one, Photograph, which comes out. I don't know what these are all movies. So movies take a little longer than TV. You know what I mean? And then I'm shooting another one next month.
Okay.
And then I have another one in post-production called Vampires vs. the Bronx, super dope, hilarious. Oz Rodriguez is the director, Saturday Night Live guy. That's the production team behind it. And that comes out once again, I don't know when, because it's in post-production. So you just got to kind of follow and see when it's coming out. Follow me on social media. That's when I announce everything. I'm writing new stand-up now, working it out, getting that all put together. So the vision is to do another special. My special, I'm going to put it on my YouTube and make it public soon. It's there, but I just haven't made it public. Why, I don't know. But the album is available on all digital platforms. It's called Ugly People Cause Problems. And it's been available. It's been available for a while, but it's still there, man. And the dope thing about it, I don't normally do clean, but the album is clean and the special is clean. So that's one thing you can definitely watch with the kids and be good with it.
How about TV? Anything?
TV, I'm auditioning. So my last TV, I just did Law and Order again. That was dope because like they brought me back. It was funny because I hadn't realized it, but it was the same episode number that I had done when I first did Law and Order 6 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, so that came out pretty dope, man. And I was happy to do that again. I mean, you know, I literally probably grew up on Dick Wolf shows. So like, the more Dick Wolf shows I can do, I think it's super dope just to watch New York Undercover, Law and Order, you know what I mean? It's just so many that he's done, and then you don't even realize some of them that he did. So that's always fun. But other than that, TV it's been just auditioning. And it's funny because it's like career-wise, I was doing more TV and less film, and then now all of a sudden I'm doing more film and less TV. But I'm cool. I just love to work. I'm about to work. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm doing what I love to do and it's something I can sink my teeth into and have fun, then that's what it's all about. You know what I mean? It's not about like, oh, I want this because it's going to be this big deal. Nah, it's do the work, and I think everything else will fall in line with it. You know what I mean?
Nice. And where can they find you?
Find me on all social media at Go Roy Jackson.
Go Roy Jackson.
Go Roy Jackson, man. Root for me. Go Roy Jackson. You know what I mean? Get fired up.
All right. So that's our segment with Roy, and now we're gonna get with the rest of our show. So there's actually two new listings that I found here. You know, part of our show, besides having guests like yourself, we want to talk about real estate and also talk to the community and show what's happening. But we didn't want to make it too boring, so that's why we had people like yourself. So there's this cool listing that came out right now. It's in Hoboken, 228 Bloomfield Street. It is by Liberty and John Buckle and Tom Worley. Actually, I used to work with these guys before at Empire Realty Group, so shout out to them. I didn't know this was their listing. It just came out to the market, $430,000. You're looking at taxes at $5,900. Monthly fee is $300. 836 square feet. It's a one bedroom. It's in Hoboken, second in Bloomfield. Really nice place. It's really cool. That stood out today. The other one that I saw that was pretty unique was 159 2nd Street in downtown JC. Talk about something you said before, popping, hot neighborhoods, downtown JC. You can't even touch it. 2 days on the market. It's in the Waldorf Lofts. You're looking at $425. Your monthly fee taxes are $7,955. Also, it's a one bedroom, and you're looking at 900 square feet, $600,000. That's not a bad unit.
Not down there, it's not.
Nah, you're a couple of blocks away from the power station.
Both of those markets are hot. Hoboken consistently stays hot. Jersey City is on fire.
Yeah.
You know, you got to grab it while you can.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, Jersey City still has some houses about selling for like $50,000.
Yeah.
You just got to be willing to put a little work into them.
Yeah, you gotta know where you want to go.
Absolutely.
And what's also happening in our What's Happening segment is Rutherford. They just opened up there's a new building, downtown living, Park Ave style. It's called the Parker on Park Avenue. They're doing a grand opening. It's a beautiful building. It looks like this if you guys can see it from there. But this is an amazing building. Still my family, we still live in Rutherford, so I know a lot about Rutherford. So that's a brand new building. And it's going to be a rental building. It's going to be great for the community. They're revamping Rutherford, which is really cool. Another thing under What's Happening is I was checking out on NJ.com, but also it's a website and a blog called Eater.com, and it's actually pretty cool because I was checking out. They had New York City best burgers, and out of the top 25, there was one from Jersey. So you can go to their website. It's Eater, E-A-T-E-R, but it's also on NJ.com, the article. So number one in New York was J.G. Mellon. Number two was Jackson Hole. What's crazy, in New Jersey, number 8 was White Manor.
White Manor is popping.
Listen,
it's been on the burger list for some years.
For years, and it's like a White Castle, but it's like $1 a change. Banging little burgers. It's like a retro 1950, 60, and it came in number 8. Actually beat number 21, which is a famous place, Peter Luger Steakhouse.
Wow.
So that is crazy on that, and that came in that list. We're gonna talk about sports, you know, and get into that. I know you're a sports fan. So, baseball season. We're going into playoffs. My Yankees, they clinched for the first time since 2012. You got Astros, Twins, Oakland looks like it's gonna be the wild card. In the National, you got Atlanta, St. Louis, LA Dodgers, who look hot. Now the wild card is still between two teams, so we don't know yet. So I'm not gonna talk about that. What's interesting too now, let's see who wins that, but who do you think is going to win the World Series?
I mean, I got to go with Oakland because I'm a Bay Area native.
Yeah.
So, you know, they may be a wild card, but I'm always going to ride with the home team.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I got to go with the A's.
I would say Yankees, Astros, and Dodgers are your strongest three right now.
Yeah.
Best records. But Oakland, you got to be careful with the wild card. You never know. All right. So let's see. Let's see what happens. In the NBA, it's interesting. They approved the sale of the Brooklyn Nets. So the one of the partners wound up buying the other 51% for $1.3 billion.
Wow.
But what's interesting is they signed Kyrie Irving and they made some trades and they got Kevin Durant. Which I didn't know when I was doing my research and prepping for this.
I didn't know
I'm
he
like,
left.
KG, I didn't know he left. I'm like, it was kind of low. I mean, KG, I mean, in Brooklyn, I mean, let's see what happens. That's gonna be interesting.
So when you say sell, they're selling, they're not leaving.
They're not leaving,
just for sale.
but it looks like the one of the partners brought out everybody out
So they're
and they
getting
approved them. It's the it's a firm, it's a company. It's not, I don't want to say the wrong name, but there's a company that owns an entity. It's a retail store that owns a big, or it's a website type of thing. Who brought the rest of them?
Yeah.
Brought everybody else out, and they approved it. So it's kind of interesting. So thank you for watching the Aviles Group podcast show. You could follow us on all major platforms. We're on Instagram, we're on Spotify, on iTunes, any type of platform that has an RSS feed, Google. You could find the Aviles Group and the Aviles Group podcast show anywhere. Also, we're having a raffle. So what I want you guys to do is you could win one of these Bluetooth speakers. All we need you to do is follow us on one of our platforms for the podcast on YouTube and follow Roy, you know? And once you do that, we're going to enter you in a draft and we're going to raffle like 5 of these for this month. And we're going to try to get everybody to win that speaker. Roy, thanks for coming to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Congrats. Mad success for you. I can't wait to see the film. Hopefully you do some more TV. And congrats with the family. I know the kids, the boys are growing. And thanks for watching. And thanks for being here, brother.
Appreciate
All right,
it.
man. Salud.
Salute.
These cups aren't empty.